I'm a serious individual, and I'm not going to be sidestepped with this nonsense up here in the States. I know my rights, and they better be ready. And I've already put them all on notice, and that's exactly what that means. Don't come over here to this girl. Carry on. Mind your own business.
Right on.
And that's awareness. Okay. So if you forget to put everyone on notice, then I'm not complying with nothing. I just won't. It's my right not to. If I don't agree, I don't have to go along. And that is my constitutional right.
That's what we're talking about. Just plain, simple agreement. You know, that's all it takes is to not agree and then do something that makes sense from that. But
well, I'd like to show the panel the huge scar on my left arm, okay, from my government and their wonderful decisions as a child, okay? And it's a scar. It's going to be there the rest of my life. But every time I look down there through this COVID, I'm like, I'm really going to let them touch me with the needle? Wow. Not happening. On notice. Sorry. Not a caver. Well, anyway, I'm going to be quiet. Nice to meet everyone. Have a good one.
Well, welcome, Johanna and David. Hi. Hi. Glad you can make it.
Yeah, no problem.
Marquetta is not available today, so you're substituting for her.
Yeah, essentially.
Great. Well, we started this, we'll go around and introduce ourselves, but we started this new school idea here maybe a month ago or something. And since you're involved in outdoor activities, especially, and you've got 3 kids and you did the hike, you know, you're in it. You're just really primed for this. It's really good to know you and having you, you know, possibly participate in this. So it'd be great. My name's Val. I'm in Baja, Mexico right now, and we're doing self-sufficient communities and environmental projects here. And we moved down here because there's less restrictions in the States, and just helping the Mexicans, and there's a lot to do. A lot of people are in poverty, and you know, they're just a good place to start from, and then expand from that. And then Johanna, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, Johanna.
Hi. Okay, here in Tanzania now is evening time. I know in Mexico now is morning. Good morning there.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning.
Okay. As I introduce to you my small project here in Tanzania, that tree planting project. This is just to save the environment. Because most of the people here, as I told you, they cutting down the trees and make deforestation here. And in my project, not only a trees, just a tree, but it's a fruit trees like oranges, mangoes, jackfruits. And because most of the people here, they don't have a tree fruits, so I decided to introduce this to the people, the local community which is surrounding me here. And people, they receive it well, positive, and some come here just to buy some trees. But not only that, but it needs to give them education on how to plant the tree. Because most of the people that in the interior of the village, they don't know the benefits of this tree, of fruit tree. So the previous week, I went to one of the schools to give the education to the people, to the students there on how to plant the trees, on how to plant the fruit trees in the schools, and also I went to the church to educate the people in the church there to plant the tree. And also I decided to go to the hospitals, the big hospital, to give them education on how to plant and grow the fruit trees. And most of them, they received this one positive. They say that they are continuing to plant the trees. And I have challenges which attack me, challenges like water. And as I told you that I don't have my own water there, I used to buy the water from the river, so the people bring the water into my place there, so I buy it. And also, staff who help me to fill the soil to the seedlings bags, and also to buy some gears like wheelbarrows, and also sim tanks, hose, just something like that. So if you get a fund, maybe one step to another step. So because I want to expand my project to be big, so that I can distribute the trees to the whole district. Thank you very much. And also, I would like to provide a lot of things to the one who designed the website, because he's the one
that's Kelsey.
which,
Yeah.
yeah,
You can send her any information you want on it, Johanna.
Yeah.
She'll add it. We're having a little bit of trouble with the website, but it's up. But I don't know if you can access it. Have you been able to access it at all?
Yes, I try to log in to see. It's somehow good. It's good.
Okay, you can
This
access
is
it.
one of the,
Okay.
yeah.
We posted it in the chat room here in the Facebook public chat.
I saw it. I saw
Okay.
it. I saw it.
Are you guys able to like drill like wells? How deep is the groundwater to get water where you are?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. It's a good question.
Yeah.
It depends on the place. Here in Tanzania, there is a place in which you can dig 100 meters, you can find water. So it's according to someone who come to measure the place and to see. I think in my place maybe 60 or 50 meters you can get water.
Nice. Is it like extremely expensive to do?
Yeah, it's 12 or 13 million. 12 or 13 million is just like 6,000 US dollar. Yes, to have my own water.
Wow.
Yeah. Somehow expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about the seeds for the fruit trees? Are you like propagating from old trees?
Yeah. Yes, I do propagation. I do grafting. You know grafting?
Nice. Yeah.
I know I do grafting and also I do budding. I do grafting on budding. I do in the citrus trees like oranges and mango and avocado and also jackfruit.
That's great. That's super great. I notice a lot in everywhere where I live, people have lawns and people plant native trees. There's this big push claiming that a lot of plants are not native, yet that works, how they can destroy native plants, but at the same time, we need food, and it just seems rather ignorant to, instead of planting a fruit tree or instead of planting like herbs and things that we can eat, everybody's planting lawns and trees that aren't that take a really long time to grow, and they help with the air, of course, obviously, but that's definitely what I see. That's what I'm trying to teach my kids about also. Sorry to jump in like this. I hope I'm not like speaking out of line.
That's good. We wanted to highlight you, David. But, so thanks, Johanna. Let's go on to Kelsey and Raj here just to introduce ourselves briefly, and then we'll go on to you, David.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Raj.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Johanna.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's nice to meet you, David. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Yeah.
Well, my name is Raj, and I go by Nayehi Doe online. I'm Native American, and I'm actually a tribal member of the Cherokee Nation, and I do research in communities. And I actually last week brought up the fact that the reason I think it's my priority, it's really my passion, and I've spent this last week thinking about this, but I have this herb book right here. I don't know if you can see it. I plan on, this is a medicine book. This was written by my ancestors, and I discovered it in the National Archives. I believe it predates all medicine, modern day surgery and all that, all of it. And it was used at standard, it was standard reading for all Harvard graduates, doctorates. So they were aware of all of this information. They could have shared 100 years ago. This book has been out for about 100 years. All of these species of herbs and trees and plants, nuts, and eat our diet. And that's my main focus, is to come up with something that's smarter and never landscape with anything that's not going to be beneficial to my health, that I can eat, drink, or, feed my livestock or whatever, and blended life with nature. And that's pretty much what my research is to bring back my native ways and appreciate just everything, and be aware and work with others to learn and bring the best all together. And pretty much that's just what my mission is. And it's nice to meet you, and welcome aboard.
Thanks,
and I'm
Raj.
gonna go on to Kelsey.
Yeah, before Kelsey talks, Kelsey and I used to hang together in both Northern California and Southern California. On a whim, I was running for city council, and we went to all these city council meetings trying to promote planting edibles, fruit trees in parking strips, along the highways, underpasses, all these unused lands that is available. for the public for public use. Of course, nobody really listened, but we thought we'd do something to help people remember that we depend on food, and we're wasting a lot of land and poisoning a lot and polluting a lot of land here that could be used for edibles. But go ahead, Kelsey. If you could introduce yourself briefly.
I'm Kelsey Brown, and I'm 29 years old, and I'm in Portsmouth, Virginia. And I did spend some time with Val in Northern California doing the city council and promoting real food, real water, and real air, and just trying to plant some fruit trees. We went to a lot of city council meetings actually in the Orange County area, in Fountain Valley and Huntington Beach and Seal Beach. And I think we were promoting planting fruit trees. So we've done a lot with the natural environment, and I create a lot of websites. So I created the NAS, the New Adventure School website. And so you can see that. And if you'd like to be added to it, then just simply send me a bio and I'll add a picture of you that's a stock image from the website. And if you do any projects with planting or gardening, or with children planting or gardening or hiking or adventuring in any way, foraging, then I can add that to the website. So that's a little bit about what I can do and what I'm here for. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelsey. Yeah. So David, any questions for Kelsey or anybody else before you can talk about what you're doing?
My wife kind of asked me to do this, so I don't know exactly even the whole. I'm starting to understand like the context of what are all you guys are speaking about. I was just kind of. My wife had talked about you guys highly, and she took the kids to a friend's house, and she's like, "Do you do this with them?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, I know. Just kind of threw you in here. I know. Thanks for taking the volunteer position here.
Yeah, no
Roxy.
problem.
But yeah, we're just basically starting this school, adventure and awareness school for people to help people reach their potential and become more aware, basically, and not have to use the traditional educational system, which is all full of agendas. So this is more real, right, because we're working with the natural environment. So we're just kind of at the early stages here, getting things together, getting people together. Marquetta and you are welcome to be part of the management part. We'll have instructors, which you could be instructor and management, but basically just setting this thing up, getting it to roll. And I really found you on Facebook. I'm really impressed. I mean, I hiked the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, in 2014 with my son, who was, 30 years old. But you hiked it with 3 kids. Can you talk about that? Young kids?
Yeah. It's me and Marquetta had wanted to hike together. She had already done it in 2012, and we had met building trails in the Shasta Trinity wilderness, and so we had been wanting to do it for a long time. And life throws wrenches in what we want sometimes to some other responsibilities on in life, and kind of pushed it out further and further and further, and until we had 3 children of our own. And then after COVID and the lockdowns and the mass vaccinations and just everything that had happened, I was just me and my wife were kind of at our wits' end, and so we decided, and we don't have to finish, we don't have to do anything according to anybody. We can just do what we are good at, and so that's what we did.
How old were you kids when you went on the hike?
When we started, they were 3.5, almost 2, and almost 5. So
That is amazing. I mean,
and
you
yeah,
made it.
Sequoia. Yeah, it was amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
you had to carry the 2-year-old for parts or most of it?
Yeah, no, my wife carried him on her back for the whole
Okay.
time. And then he would walk like 500 feet at a time. And then towards the end, he walked up to like a mile straight.
Okay.
And then, yeah, we'd carry him and stuff. Yeah, it was excruciatingly painful physically. And, but it was good. It teaches you that you can do more than what you think, I think. The body wants to give up, but our minds are strong and we can keep going if we choose. Obviously you can kind of push it too far and get hurt, but we didn't. And yeah, and like raising kids is no different out on a trail or in the wilderness than it is at home. There's obviously give and take to both scenarios, and I don't think any one is better than the other. It just depends on your situation and what you're trying to teach your children. And there's many ways to do it. I mean, we wanted to teach connection with nature and the feeling of being grateful for being alive. And you can do that at home with planting and just being outside and looking at everything. You don't necessarily have to go on a super long hike. Me and Marquetta just kind of are that type of person, for better or for worse, for our own lives. So yeah.
That you did this
good.
last year, and how many miles did you get to on the Pacific Crest Trail, which is from Mexico to Canada, for those of you who don't know?
We did half, so it was 1,300 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. The kids walked, Joshua and Sequoia walked 1,300 miles. It was pretty incredible.
The logistics of that, how did you figure that out? Carrying food and for 5 people and clothing?
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of weight. I carried 8 pounds, especially through the desert because of the water. So I had to carry a lot of water for long periods of time. And we learned as we went. There's not a lot of pre-planning. Anybody who has kids obviously knows this. It's almost impossible to plan with children. And then let alone even by yourself, you think you're going to do something a certain way and then it changes, and that's just life. So with the kids, it was just kind of go with what was happening and what was available. And just kind of trying to let go of the control, I guess, a little bit, of trying to have everything perfect, and just kind of allow things to unfold the way they were going to, and it worked out. I mean, just like this small group right here, growing with each other, I can already feel that we have a lot in common. It's the same way out there. Everybody just kind of like becomes instantly supportive because you all have the same experience going on in your life. So it was really amazing. We had so much help from everybody, and random people, other hikers. It was really uplifting to feel that, because during COVID, I'm sure we all felt like everybody was pretty disconnected. So that was like the complete opposite, and it was definitely something I needed to feel again in life, which was really uplifting and great.
Can you kind of go through each of your kids and their experience and how they saw it and what they saw from it? They must have given you feedback.
Yeah.
Sequoia.
Sequoia, she's 5 now. 5.5. She'll be 6 in May. she definitely, I think, grew a lot in the aspect of being able to talk to people. She kind of lost fear of people, and some kids are just more, I think, born more or less shy and not shy. It's different, right? Sequoia was more on the shy side when she started to develop her personality, but out there, she really grew in that area and wanted to like lead a lot. She was very she's very like leader oriented, and she grew her imagination a whole bunch with the play that she had, telling stories and playing with rocks, and she would make something up to do, and that was pretty awesome. And her relationship with her younger brother Joshua, the middle one, grew tremendously, which was amazing to see. Joshua was 3.5 when we started. He turned 4 in October, and he probably grew the most out of all the kids. And my wife held his hand. Well, he held her finger, like, his hands are small, for like 500 miles straight. And like I was always behind with Sequoia usually, and I just kept thinking to myself, like, there's no way we can keep doing this. My wife has a baby on her back and holding Joshua's hands, and she's like has to turn sideways to be able to fit on the trail while holding his hand, and it was painful for me to watch. I was like, this can't last very long. But my wife is she's pretty badass and doesn't let those types of things really bother her. And then finally Joshua just kind of let go one day, and he just like blasted it off, and is really amazing in that respect. And then Standa, our youngest, what was really surprising, he wasn't even 2. And somewhere along the lines in the desert, because water was so essential, it was like all we thought about was water. That was like the main focus was water. He started to point into all the, and he was always like, water. And he started to understand, like, without us really doing anything, he just started to understand where the water flows when it falls from the sky and where water would be. It was really interesting. I really think any child being put in that situation will naturally evolve those types of that type of awareness. If they spend enough time outside, they figure these things out on their own. I think every human is capable of that. And so, yeah, by the end, it was really interesting because all of them, like, they already understand a lot about water, which is really interesting. I had no idea that was going to happen. But I would say that's probably the highlight of how I interpret their experience. Of course, if you talk to them, they're gonna go off and tell you all kinds of stuff. That I don't know what's going on in their heads. So it's.
And you went through the Sierras too, then. Did you skip that, or did you go?
Yeah, through the Sierras. There was no. We went through. There was a lot of snow. And the kids loved the snow. And so that made it so much easier. They loved it. It was like, if there was snow 500 feet off the trail, they would run off to it and go play in it. And which is hard because, you got a lot of weight and you're trying to make miles because you only have a certain amount of food. And so you kind of aren't able to not hike. You have to hike. But they would go run off and play in the snow, and they loved it. They loved it a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if you all know about hiking in the snow and crossing raging rivers and traversing dangerous slopes full of snow, ice. I mean, this is like not that easy. And she's carrying, how much did he weigh, the 2-year-old?
He was, my wife was carrying around like 55 to 60 pounds, including him. Yeah. So he was, I think he was like 22 to 25 pounds.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I thought 30 pounds was heavy, you know, like,
It is, yeah.
but this is, and you were carrying how much?
Like 80 to 85.
Jeez, this is like a
Yeah.
military expedition.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, we were doing low amount of miles, so it kind of was like easier in that way. Obviously, going any further than that with that much weight would be brutal. But it was hard, very hard. So
What, 10 mile, 15 miles days or what?
we did, yeah, mostly 10s. I think our biggest day was 17. And then that was all downhill coming off of San Jacinto in Southern California. And yeah, so it ranged, 10 to 12 was like our median for hiking.
Amazing. Yeah, but this is like real education. I mean, what you're giving them, the exposure here to the environment and how you did it with the support you gave them. I mean, it's tremendous. What you're giving them as parents.
Thank you.
That's why I took my son, he's 30, he was 30, but still there's a bond, there's a support that we'll always have, that came from that experience. And this is what we want to do at this school, make it more real. We want to make it so it's not just intellectual nonsense and, getting kids prepared for society and, fit in. We want to help people understand that, food, air, water, the quality of these things is necessary for us to survive here. And that's what's important. And this is what you're doing, and what these others here are interested in the environment and doing something to help others, to support others. And what you see on the trail too, it's like you're supporting each other. And you said it right. It is the focus. You have walk, eat, sleep, basically, but each person understands that the other person is in the same boat, and so there's a support, there's a community that develops, and we don't have that in society here normally. Everybody's competing against each other, or every man for himself. So there's potential here. So Kelsey, have you seen the website, Kelsey Belt? David, did you get in the link?
No, what is the website called? I can look it up.
Kelsey can put it in the chat here. Is it working, Kelsey? Johanna got on.
So for me, it actually worked fine, and it didn't give me that "do you want to proceed" question. I know that it can be different on laptops and desktops especially, but for me, it didn't do that. And I don't know if that's because I have the Strikingly app downloaded and I'm the creator, but it's NAAS.strikingly.com, and Strikingly is STRIKINGLY. So NAAS.strikingly.com. Actually, it might even be .mystrikingly.com.
Can you put it in the chat here so we have it? And then Johanna was able to get on. I don't know, Raj, did you get on? Yeah, okay. She got on.
Yeah, I got on.
Okay.
Did it ask you did you want to continue? Was it some kind of like privacy thing, Raj?
No, it just popped right up for me. It really did.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
I did that on my iPhone, and and then I read through it, because I get up like first thing every morning and just read everything, and and I checked it out. It was beautiful. You did an excellent job, and I need to get with you because I need to make a couple of changes, if that's okay. I'm just really I'm behind right now, and things that I feel that I need to get done, but I know they'll get done. Do you know what I mean?
That's fine. Whenever you can email me. I know that our friend here from Africa has some updates for me that I haven't got to because I don't have a laptop. So,
right.
So I did put it in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I figured you were you're more on that part of it than I am. I'm like over here researching and doing all this other, I noticed that you are way more knowledgeable as far as the Facebook and getting around. And what I've done is I used to be pretty proficient and I was really current. And actually Meta and all this has changed, my Facebook, but I was like protesting and not using Facebook and walked away from it and only going there to check my notifications, just to keep it clear or whatever. And, but not being on it all day. So I'm not really, confident like you are. And, you've just done a really outstanding job of, navigating and getting everything, up and running and everything. And, kudos to you, Kelsey. You're doing it. You're making Val look great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You have Facebook, you're not on Facebook, so what's the best way to communicate with you, David?
Oh, actually, I have a Facebook.
Oh, you
My
do?
wife does not have a Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I just never use it really. But I can start to use it again.
well, that's how we communicate. We have in chat in our NAAS Facebook group.
Okay.
We'll
Awesome.
invite you, and then you can participate in the chats during the week.
Take out the piece with David sharing and we can post that onto YouTube, and I can post it onto my YouTube. And sounds like you have a YouTube now. I don't know if you want to make a new one for Nas or if you want to upload on Universal Hikers. Maybe we make a new one for Nas.
Yeah, let's make a new one.
Yeah, and I second that. I really second that, Val, what Kelsey just said, and just go ahead and edit out all of this and just, let's just put the really good content out there, I think, like David, because that was just a wonderful journey that he shared. And I'm sure that he's going to inspire others. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
With his story, as much as Johanna. I want to plant those trees tomorrow, Johanna. I want them over here on the reservation like yesterday. And I was actually wondering how we could, like, let's say I want to eat his mangoes, Val. I want to buy his mangoes from him. How do I get his mangoes over here to my table? Because I want his product. I don't want the mystery product, right? I'm willing to, pay, have, really good quality food. And he might want some of the stuff I'm growing over here, right, in the nation. He might need some watercress or something, whatever, and I can just send him over a bushel. And, that's kind of like that economy that we'll get going through these, like him and his wife and their children. They could come down and see you, walk down to Mexico and see you, and then they can walk up here to Oklahoma and see me. And then they can go on up to the Virginia and see Kelsey, because we're all, that's what natives do, is we move, a story that my grandma, I want to tell this story today. My grandma, and this was an eyewitness account. My grandma was born in the 1930s. And she grew up really close to the Oklahoma-Kansas state line in a little town called Blue Jacket. Well, at that time, even in that day, the native peoples, which was my people, I'm sure my ancestors cousins were in the group because we were all related. All of the Cherokee tribe is all related, all the groups. So she said that she went to school and she'd walk into school and the natives came up to hunt, and they camped around the outskirts of the town, and all the women went to work. The men went and they would bring home the deer, play, while the women would just do whatever, and they would sit there as a whole entire tribe, process every single thing that they gathered up, down to the sinew. And my grandma said they would do that. They would be there for 2 weeks, maybe, or however long it took. But when they left, you couldn't even see one blade of grass that was out of place. They left it exactly the same way that they found it. We as people should really walk around in this environment and teach our children that, to walk lightly, you know. And so growing up in the woods, I would practice walking real quiet, where I wouldn't step on a leaf. It wouldn't crackle, you know, and I would be sneaking up. But they were teaching me stuff the old ways, and I didn't know what it was until I grew up and had to start researching, because that information is not accessible. Nobody's taught us anything. In fact, they taught us not to be Native at 53 years old. That's sad. That's genocide. And, you know, I'm working to bring back better ways for your children and for my grandchildren I don't have. So
That's great, Raj.
I just, you know, I had to tell that story, because that's really the way we all should live, is that I shouldn't be able to tell that you are even in my home or on my yard, you know. That's called respect. And that's respect for Gaia, respect for energy, frequency, movement. You know, you're just existing, you're in the now, this is what you need, and then you move on. And you don't, you know, put a fence around it.
You know, there's a book called 1491. You heard of that one? Yeah, 1492, Columbus was supposed to, you know, discover the place here. Well, there's 1491, New Revelations of the Americas Before Columbus by Charles Mann. And he talks about how it came over, the white men came over. And, you know, they saw the Indians actually managed the woods and the forests, and they like you're talking about, but you couldn't tell that they did a little bit here, you know, they did stuff that it looked natural, everything looked natural, but they were managing it, you know, to grow their food and mushrooms or whatever they did, you know, to survive. But it wasn't like rows of crops and, you know, like we have modern agriculture. It was blended more like permaculture with environment, but even more so than permaculture. I mean, the white men couldn't even tell that they had, until they talked to them, that they were managing the forests and in the wilderness, you know, with a light touch, that they worked together with it. Everybody's got their little niche here, their little communities, and then from there, we expand out and reach others within our community, and it just grows bigger and bigger. And again, we have backing here from the connection that we have with, you know, reality here. It works, you know. We're not just like environmentalists and just do-gooders, but we have really good backing here, and you'll see in the future how that works. But we have a lot of potential here to get this, to reach a lot of people and to help save the planet, you could say, and even more. That's another thing. Did you guys share dreams? Like some of the indigenous people share their dreams a lot. You know, did you share your dreams on the hike at all? Did you talk about them at all with the kids or with you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's weird. I used to dream a lot more vividly and kind of have those lucid dreams a lot before I had kids. I don't have them as much anymore. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the everyday hustle and bustle and stress of everything. But I try to frequently ask my children if they have dreams. They usually say the same thing, something silly. And I can't really tell if it was like they're just kind of like trying to imagine having a dream, or if they really did have a dream, because there's no emotion attached to it whatsoever. And they kind of just seem like they're just like saying stuff. But I definitely, you know, I try to poke them.
Because they're connected, they have a connection. They're not literalized yet from our educational system. So it may seem like it's
Totally.
this or that, but it's there. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
That's we're getting a lot from them. They're the seers of the day because they're more pure and innocent and sincere, and they bring back, information that we don't have access to in their own way. So it's good to learn from each other. We take care of them and they take care of us in a sense. Well, thanks everybody. You're wonderful. Keep up the good work, everybody. And we'll see you on the chat, email or chat, if you have any questions or you want to share something. So appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see.
Thank you.
Hasta luego.
Bye.